Soft winds carry us across the sands of time, where the whispers of forgotten temples and sacred groves rise like gentle waves. Tonight, we drift slowly through the lives of women who were once considered divine, their presence guiding ancient communities, their wisdom hidden in the folds of history. Let us move quietly through moonlit courtyards and candlelit shrines, feeling the serene pulse of devotion. Each story, a soft echo of reverence, invites your spirit to rest and your mind to wander in calm wonder. In the gentle glow of distant stars, we explore the sacred rites, the quiet power, and the tender mysteries of ancient cults. Let these tales soothe you, like a lullaby carried from centuries past, as your heart settles into peaceful slumber. If these stories ease your mind, subscribe to drift with us through more gentle journeys. You can also comment softly where you are listening from, and let your presence join the quiet circle of dreamers tonight. The night stretches wide and soft, like a silken cloth draped over the sleeping earth. Moonlight slips through the open sky, spilling silver across the quiet temple courtyard. Shadows stretch gently between the columns, stretching like slow, unhurried breaths. Here the air is cool, carrying the faint scent of jasmine and stone, of earth that remembers every step taken upon it. The leaves of nearby trees whisper with the softest sighs, and in that gentle sound a presence seems to breathe. A single figure moves slowly across the courtyard. Her robes glide lightly over the smooth stones, making no sound except the soft brush of fabric. She is the priestess of this night, a guardian of quiet moments and unseen prayers. Her hands rise, delicate, open palms facing the silver glow. Her eyes are lifted toward the moon, reflecting its calm light as though they themselves have become small mirrors. With each breath, the courtyard seems to hold its own, listening, waiting, offering stillness. Softly she begins her ritual. Her voice is low, a gentle murmur that ripples like water over stones. Each word folds into the next, not hurried, not loud, simply present. The villagers, tucked in their nearby homes, sleep peacefully, unaware of her passage. Yet the spirit of the place knows. Even the wind seems to pause, curling softly around the columns, leaning close to listen. She chants for the safety of all, for the quiet hearts of those who rest. Each syllable is a ripple across a calm pond, moving outward, touching the edges of the world and returning to its source. The priestess moves to the center of the courtyard, where a small, shallow basin holds water drawn from the sacred spring. She dips her hand slowly, letting droplets spill gently back into the bowl. Each drop sends tiny circles across the surface, rippling outward and disappearing into calm. She whispers the names of stars as if nomming old friends, connecting the night sky to the stones beneath her feet. The water reflects the moon, a perfect silver mirror, and in that reflection, it is easy to forget where the earth ends and the sky begins. Soft drums echo somewhere far away, their sound muted by distance and soft earth. They are not alarming, only a gentle heartbeat to accompany her movements. She lifts a small lamp, its flame wavering but steady, and carries it around the basin. The light falls upon the water, upon her robes, upon the smooth courtyard stones, and in the warmth of that glow, the night seems to breathe a little deeper. Shadows curl and stretch like whispered stories, quiet and slow, full of remembered wisdom. She steps toward a small stone altar, worn smooth by generations of hands. On it rest simple offerings, petals, small bowls of rice, a single cup of milk. She touches each with reverence, her fingers tracing invisible patterns, connecting her presence with the memories of those who came before. Her lips move in a murmur, offering gratitude, letting each word be an echo of soft devotion. The courtyard responds. The wind shifts slightly. A leaf trembles. The water in the basin ripples gently once more, as if acknowledging her quiet reverence. Priestess kneels, folding herself into the stones. Her breath is steady, soft, measured. In this moment, the courtyard, the temple, the earth, the moon, and the stars seem to gather together in a gentle circle of awareness. There is no hurry, no need to speak louder than the quiet. She listens to the whispers of the night, to the soft rhythm of the world breathing around her. Somewhere above, a bird calls softly, and she smiles, as if greeting a friend who has flown from far away to join this quiet vigil. Each movement she makes is careful and slow, like water folding over itself. Her hands lift, offering blessings to the air, to the earth, to all who walk unseen paths beneath the night sky. She imagines the villagers, each resting in their homes, and sends warmth and calm toward them. Her prayer is not heavy or commanding. It is a soft light, gentle and steady, that folds around them like a blanket. Even the moon seems to tilt closer, as if to watch her devotion, lending its quiet glow to the quiet ceremony. The courtyard is now bathed in soft silver light, shadows forming gentle curves along the stones. The priestess rises and walks toward the outer edge, where the columns give way to the gardens beyond. Flowers close their petals for the night, leaves rest without movement, and the earth hums quietly beneath her bare feet. She lets her fingers brush the tops of the low shrubs, feeling their coolness, their calm, their patient stillness. She hums a note, soft and low, blending with the wind, blending with the distant ripple of water in the basin. She stops near a small fountain, water trickling softly over smooth stones. The sound is almost musical, a lullaby for the earth itself. She dips her fingers into the flowing stream, letting the coolness spread through her hand and into her being. She closes her eyes and imagines the water carrying her prayers far beyond the courtyard, far beyond the temple walls, even beyond the hills that cradled the village. The words are not hurried. They drift slowly like clouds across a wide sky, gentle and sure in their passage. The moon now hangs high and round, its light spilling over the temple in a quiet, steady glow. The priestess walks slowly along the edge of the courtyard, her shadow stretching long and thin, weaving between the columns. She pauses at each doorway, at each threshold, offering silent respect to the spirits of the home, the hearth, and the stone. Each step is a soft beat in the rhythm of the night, a slow pulse of care and attention. She does not hurry, she does not demand. She simply is present, and in that presence, the night itself seems to breathe more deeply. Above, stars shimmer quietly. The priestess lifts her gaze, letting their light settle in her eyes. She whispers each name softly, like a mother calling her children from a distant place. Her voice blends with the night, mingling with the faint rustle of leaves, the trickle of water, the soft heartbeat of the earth. She imagines that each star carries a memory, a story, a blessing. She smiles as she listens to their quiet hum, understanding that the night is never empty. It is full of stories waiting to be remembered, of prayers waiting to be carried, of calm waiting to be shared. She returns to the basin at the center of the courtyard, kneeling once more. Her hands cup the water gently, lifting it toward her lips, letting a few droplets fall back with soft, deliberate care. Each splash is a small note in a quiet song, each ripple a reminder that even small acts of reverence can touch the vastness of the night. She breathes slowly, letting the cool air of the evening fill her lungs, letting it carry her spirit outward and then back again. The courtyard seems to hum with quiet attention. The stones, worn smooth by centuries of devotion, remember the touch of many hands. The wind bends softly, carrying the faint scent of flowers and stone, of earth and water, of incense long since faded into memory. The priestess closes her eyes, letting the calm of the night wrap around her shoulders, around her heart, around every small movement she has made. She is both present and not, a quiet thread woven through the fabric of this sacred space. She rises slowly, lifting her lamp once more. The flame wavers gently, but it does not falter. She walks once around the courtyard, tracing a soft circle, a gentle spiral of care and attention. With each step, the night seems to fold around her, curling closer, offering the warmth of its stillness. She pauses at the edge, letting her hands drift lightly over the cool stone. The moon smiles and the stars twinkle quietly, like 1,000 soft eyes watching over her devotion. At last, the priestess stands still in the center of the courtyard. Her hands are folded lightly, her gaze lifted toward the quiet heavens. She whispers a final prayer, a note of calm, a blessing for the sleeping village. The wind stirs softly, the water ripples once, the leaves shiver just slightly. And then, as the night moves onward, she bows her head and steps back, retreating into the shadows of the temple. The courtyard remains, bathed in moonlight, still and waiting. The soft echo of her presence lingers in the air, a calm imprint of care and devotion. The night stretches wider, deeper, quieter. And now, the stars and the moon and the earth itself seem to cradle the world in gentle hands, letting all who rest here drift toward dreams that are soft, slow, and full of peaceful light. Let us drift onward with the priestess's quiet blessing, letting her calm ripple through our minds. Let your breath settle, let your body soften, let the quiet of the night fold around you. Now rest, as the stars return to their gentle vigil, and the moon watches softly, keeping the world wrapped in silver stillness. The river moves slowly tonight, gliding under a sky brushed with silver and faint lavender. Its surface mirrors the scattered stars, each one trembling softly like a memory just remembered. The water is cool, steady, and deep, carrying whispers from far upstream and murmurs of unseen roots below. Along its banks, the earth sighs quietly, soft mosses and reeds bending in gentle acknowledgement of the river's patient flow. A path winds along the edge, barely marked, where the footsteps of women who once came here linger in the quiet soil. You float alongside that path, feeling the hush of the night fold around you. The air is scented with damp earth and blossoms, a fragrance that is neither sharp nor sweet, but calm and enduring like the memory of long-forgotten prayers. Small lights, perhaps fireflies, hover above the water's edge, weaving slow arcs through the night, carrying their gentle glow as though guiding unseen spirits home. The river has always been sacred. Women from long ago brought simple offerings here: petals, grains, small bowls of water, incense that curled faintly into the sky. Each offering was a quiet gesture, a soft conversation with the spirits of the river, the trees, and the stars above. You can imagine the careful hands placing each gift, the tender bow of the head, the gentle murmur of devotion. The river does not hurry, and neither did they. Each act of reverence was slow, deliberate, and full of presence, like a leaf settling softly onto still water. Tonight you drift through this memory, carried by the soft murmur of water over stone. The river laps lightly against its banks, whispering back the words that were once spoken here. The women's voices blend with the night, low chants that move like wind across the reeds, soft syllables that rise and fall like gentle waves. Their prayers are not demanding or loud. They are quiet threads of care, offering calm and protection to those who rest nearby. You can feel their devotion seep into the river, a pulse of serenity moving through the current. Along the shore, flat stones glimmer faintly in the moonlight. Some are smooth, shaped by the slow passage of time, while others bear the subtle marks of careful hands. Here, a small clay bowl tilts slightly, left behind long ago, filled with water or petals. The river takes it in its quiet rhythm, carrying fragments of these offerings downstream. You watch as the petals float, drifting in circles, moving gracefully with the current. Each one seems to hold a soft memory, a gentle echo of devotion, traveling slowly into the wider world. A heron steps lightly at the water's edge, its reflection trembling in the soft silver glow. The priestesses of old would have known these birds as messengers, silent and patient, carrying prayers from earth to sky. You watch it move, one slow step at a time, the river folding around its legs as though cradling it. You sense the calmness in every motion, the quiet rhythm that the river and its guardians have always held. Each ripple, each flutter of feather, is a reminder that presence, soft and attentive, carries more than words ever could. The river curves gently, widening and narrowing in a slow, deliberate path. Trees lean over the water, their branches creating soft tunnels of shadow and moonlight. The women who came here long ago moved carefully under these branches, lifting their offerings with reverent hands. Some would kneel, letting the water lap gently over their fingers. Others would whisper blessings into the night air, letting them mingle with the wind, the river, and the stars above. Each act was small, yet it carried a sense of eternity, as though the river itself listened and remembered every gesture. In the deeper pools, water lilies float like soft lanterns, their petals open but calm, reflecting the silver of the moon. Women would have offered flowers like these to the unseen spirits, letting the blossoms drift downstream, each one a quiet prayer for health, safety, or gratitude. You can see them now, gliding on the current, turning slowly in the gentle embrace of the water. The river takes nothing in haste. It moves steadily, silently, carrying the weight of devotion with ease, as if it has always known how to hold the world gently in its arms. The air carries faint sounds from far away, the rustle of leaves, the soft croak of frogs, the distant hum of insects waking under the cool night. All of it blends with the river's steady murmur, forming a lullaby older than memory. You feel the calm settling deeper, as though the night itself is wrapping you in patience and care. The water reflects not only the moon and stars, but also the quiet devotion of generations, shimmering softly with each ripple. You follow it with your eyes, letting the slow dance of light and shadow lull your thoughts into gentle stillness. The priestesses would sometimes leave small lamps near the water's edge. Flames flickered in the dark, tiny islands of light that drew the eye and softened the heart. Tonight, you can imagine these lamps glowing faintly, their reflection winking in the ripples. The soft orange glow meets the cool silver of the moonlight, blending warmth and calm in a harmony that feels like home. Each light is an anchor, holding the spirit steady, letting the river carry the rest. The night seems to lean closer, as if it too wants to witness this serene ritual. Further downstream, the river bends beneath an old stone bridge, worn by centuries of footsteps. It is quiet here, almost hallowed. Women would cross it carefully, balancing offerings in small hands, bowing their heads as the moonlight spilled upon them. You drift along the water, following the curve, and feel the continuity of devotion. Every step, every ripple, every chant is preserved in the gentle memory of the river. Nothing is lost. It all moves onward, soft and enduring. A small owl stirs in a hollowed tree nearby, blinking slowly, observing the river and the quiet movements along its banks. The owl watches without urgency, a sentinel of patience and wisdom. Its wings are tucked close, its presence unobtrusive, yet its calm attention adds to the tapestry of serenity. You feel a similar presence within yourself, a quiet awareness of the rhythm of night, the pulse of water, the soft devotion of unseen hands. The river teaches patience simply by moving, and you move with it in spirit, one breath at a time. Near the water's edge, reeds sway, brushing lightly against one another. They whisper, a gentle accompaniment to the soft chant still echoing in memory. You drift alongside them, feeling the rhythm of the river, the sway of leaves, the gentle heartbeat of earth and water together. Each offering, each whispered prayer, each flicker of lamplight is like a note in a lullaby that stretches beyond years, beyond time. The river is both keeper and carrier, embracing all gestures of devotion with calm, unwavering hands. The river widens, flowing through a quiet meadow where the moon spills over grass and wildflowers. Here, the water moves slower, almost pausing to savor its own reflection. Petals float gracefully, lamps dimly flicker, and the whispers of past devotion rise in harmony with the soft wind. You sense the hands of generations, folded in reverence, the gentle touch of fabric, the careful lowering of offerings into water. The river cradles each one, letting the calm flow through them and into all who follow. Time itself seems to slow along this river. The night deepens, and the gentle hum of water becomes a steady lullaby. You drift with it, moving with the current, feeling each ripple fold gently around your mind. The stars lean closer, reflected in the quiet water, and the moon's gaze is tender, holding all that moves beneath it. The river teaches that devotion does not need haste, that care does not need noise, that presence itself is a gift, flowing endlessly, patiently, without demand. And now, as the river flows onward, carrying petals, lamps, prayers, and whispers, you feel a gentle calm settle over your body and mind. Each ripple, each soft chant, each flickering light becomes part of your breath, part of your heartbeat, part of the gentle rhythm that prepares you for sleep. You drift softly, like a small leaf on the water, carried safely through the night. Let the river carry you onward, through the calm and quiet of time, through the tender presence of those who came before, and into the gentle embrace of your own dreams. Let the water, the moon, the stars, and the soft whispers of devotion guide you. Now rest, as the river flows slowly beneath the silver sky, and the night holds you in its quiet, eternal embrace. The desert stretches endlessly under a sky that glows faintly with the last whispers of twilight. Soft waves of warm sand ripple under the moon's gentle gaze, folding over themselves like slow breaths of the earth. The wind moves lightly, carrying grains of sand in delicate dances, scattering them over smooth dunes that rise and fall in quiet rhythm. Here, in this vast expanse, time seems to slow, as if the desert itself measures its own heartbeat, patient and steady. Along a narrow path between two rolling dunes, a small gathering of travelers rests. They have followed the soft trails that twist across the sands, guided by distant lamps and whispered stories. At the center of their camp, beneath a shelter of woven cloth, sits the oracle. Her eyes are calm pools reflecting the endless sky, and her presence is like a quiet stream flowing through stillness. She does not speak loudly. She does not hurry. The weight of her knowledge drifts softly, carried on the warm desert air, settling gently upon all who come near. Her hands rest lightly upon a low table of smooth stone, where small offerings have been placed. Pieces of cloth, grains of rice, small bowls of water, and tiny tokens brought from distant villages glimmer faintly in the lamplight. The oracle lifts one hand slowly, letting her fingers brush over each item without haste. Her touch is a silent blessing, connecting the earth, the travelers, and the unseen spirits that wander the desert's quiet night. Each movement is a soft note in a lullaby older than memory, folding the desert, the moon, and the stars into a calm, enduring circle. The travelers watch with gentle eyes, knowing that to be here is to be part of something larger, something unseen yet intimately present. The oracle breathes slowly, letting the rhythm of the wind, the sand, and the distant stars settle within her. Her voice rises softly, a quiet hum at first, then forming words that float across the warm air like soft incense. These words carry visions, gentle images that drift in the minds of those who listen. A silver river flowing under the desert moon, a tree standing alone atop a dune, a bird circling high and returning to rest. Each vision is a thread, weaving together guidance, calm, and quiet understanding. She speaks of patience, of observing without rushing. She speaks of the desert's lessons, how the sands shift with the wind yet remain enduring, how the sun rises and sets without hurry, how the night enfolds everything in gentle darkness. The travelers feel the wisdom of these images seep slowly into their minds. Thoughts drift like leaves on a quiet stream, moving with the rhythm of the oracle's soft words. The desert seems to breathe with them, folding its warm stillness into every small gesture, every quiet heartbeat. Nearby, a small fire flickers, its orange glow dancing lightly against the sands. The oracle gestures toward it with calm fingers. Shadows stretch and bend, merging with the moonlight that spills across the dunes. She explains, not with urgency but with presence, how the flame is like the spark of clarity within the mind. It does not need to burn quickly or loudly. It only needs to exist, steady and patient, to illuminate the path softly. The travelers feel the truth of this lesson, letting it settle like soft sand between their fingers. The wind stirs gently, carrying faint whispers across the dunes. The oracle closes her eyes, listening to the desert's quiet voice. She murmurs a prayer that drifts outward, mingling with the faint rustle of sand and the distant cry of a desert owl. The words are soft and rhythmic, each one a gentle ripple across the night air. The travelers lean closer, not in expectation, but in calm attention, allowing the slow movement of sound to carry them deeper into stillness. Their hearts match the soft rhythm of the dunes, each beat a quiet echo of the oracle's presence. Her visions unfold like soft petals. She gestures toward the stars, pointing out clusters that mirror the patterns of human life, moments of patience, cycles of growth, quiet turns of destiny. She does not command, she does not demand understanding. The travelers do not need to follow each detail. They only float gently in the images, letting them pass through mind and heart like soft waves. Even the desert itself seems to hold its breath, allowing the calm to deepen. The oracle stands slowly, her robe brushing lightly against the sand. She walks to the edge of the camp, her bare feet leaving quiet impressions that will fade with the wind. In her hands, she holds a small bowl of water, smooth and reflective. She lifts it toward the sky, letting it catch the moonlight, and then pours it gently over a small pile of sand. The water soaks in slowly, disappearing, leaving only a subtle shimmer. The gesture is simple, yet full of meaning. A reminder that even the smallest act, when done with calm attention, can flow outward and touch all things. Across the dunes, shadows shift and stretch. The travelers notice how the sand cradles every movement, how the night embraces every whisper. They begin to feel a deep, gentle stillness settle within themselves. Thoughts drift slowly, like clouds over the desert sky, and every inhalation becomes a soft, full breath, every exhalation a release into the patient calm of the night. The oracle watches, serene, letting the quiet expand naturally. She gestures toward a distant dune, where the moonlight paints the sand in soft silver. The desert speaks in silence, she murmurs. Its lessons are quiet yet constant. Its wisdom moves like wind, shaping without force, enduring without haste. The travelers close their eyes, imagining the slow rise and fall of the dunes, the delicate brushing of sand across their feet, the soft bending of the night air. In that imagery, they feel a presence both vast and intimate, a calmness that stretches far beyond the campfire's warmth. A small group of birds stirs in the distance, their silhouettes moving against the horizon. The oracle's eyes follow them, noticing their quiet flight. "See how they move," she whispers, "guided by winds they cannot control, yet always finding their way. So too do we move, carried by currents larger than ourselves, always arriving where we are meant to be in perfect calm." The words settle like gentle sand in the hearts of the travelers. Their breaths match the rhythm of the night, slow, steady, and calm. She kneels once more, placing her hands lightly on the sand. She murmurs a blessing for all who have traveled through the desert, for those who will come after, for the unseen spirits who watch from afar. The sound is low, almost a hum, yet it carries far on the night wind. You can imagine the grains of sand trembling slightly in recognition, the moonlight bending softly over each small curve of the dunes, the desert itself folding the sound into its patient silence. The travelers follow her lead, closing their eyes, letting the calm ripple through their bodies like water flowing over stones. Each heartbeat aligns with the soft rhythm of wind and sand. Each breath becomes a note in the quiet lullaby that the desert and the oracle have composed together. The stars lean closer, reflected in the traveler's imagination, their soft lights winking like gentle reminders of eternity. The night deepens. The oracle rises slowly, walking along the edge of the camp, her robes brushing against the sand without sound. She pauses to lift a small lamp, its flame flickering but steady, casting a gentle glow that mingles with the moonlight. Shadows stretch like whispered memories across the dunes, soft and slow. Each movement is deliberate yet effortless, each gesture full of quiet meaning. The travelers feel themselves drifting, carried by the rhythm of the night, the movement of the sand, and the calm presence of the oracle. She pauses at the crest of a small dune, lifting her hands skyward, letting the cool desert wind move through her fingers. The wind carries whispers of all that has passed here, all that has been given, all that will be remembered in quiet ways. The river of stars above mirrors the patterns of sand below. The night folds upon itself, soft and patient, creating a space where every small motion, every quiet prayer, every gentle thought is held carefully and without haste. At last, the oracle returns to the center of the camp. She kneels, letting the warmth of the fire brush her face, letting the calm of the night settle into her own heart. She lifts her gaze to the sky, letting the stars shine gently into her eyes, and murmurs one last blessing for all who have passed this way. The travelers feel it settle around them like a soft, invisible blanket, carrying peace, patience, and the enduring calm of the desert night. And now, as the desert wind moves slowly across the dunes, as the sand cradles every gentle movement, and as the stars watch silently above, let your own heart drift alongside this quiet rhythm. Let your breath follow the soft undulations of the sand. Let your thoughts fold into the patient calm of the night, and let your body rest beneath the silver gaze of moon and stars. Let us drift onward with the oracle's quiet blessing, carried by wind and sand, toward dreams as soft and steady as the desert itself. Now rest, as the stars return to their eternal watch, and the night holds you gently, without hurry, in its timeless embrace. The garden lies hidden beneath a sky softened by twilight, where the sun has just begun to fold behind distant hills. Soft shadows stretch across the pathways, weaving between columns of stone that rise like quiet sentinels. Every surface glows faintly in the lingering light, and the air is filled with the gentle perfume of jasmine, marigold, and blossoms whose names have long been forgotten. The earth itself seems to breathe here, patient, serene, holding space for every delicate movement, every whisper of devotion. You float along a narrow path of worn stones, feeling the subtle warmth beneath your feet, and hear only the soft rustle of leaves and the faint trickle of water from a hidden fountain. The garden is vast, yet it feels intimate, as if each corner is shaped to cradle the spirits who wander here. Sunlight and shadow mingle in gentle patterns, and the soft hum of insects carries like a lullaby through the fragrant air. Somewhere a bird stirs in the branches, lifting its wings without a sound, a quiet observer of this sacred place. At the heart of the garden stands a row of silent temples, their columns etched with symbols of protection, devotion, and the divine feminine. Women from long ago cared for these spaces, tending each stone and flower with reverence. Their hands smoothed the moss from the walls, arranged petals in small bowls, and whispered prayers that lingered in the air long after their voices had faded. You sense these quiet movements, the rhythm of care that has passed from generation to generation, and it wraps around you like a soft, invisible shawl. Along the winding paths, small pools of water reflect the sky and the delicate shapes of overhanging leaves. Some pools are round, bordered by smooth stones. Others are long, narrow channels that catch the light and guide it softly onward. You float past them slowly, noticing the gentle ripples, the way the water bends to meet the edges of the stones, the small circles that appear and fade as if the pools themselves breathe. These waters were once touched by the hands of priestesses and caretakers, their reflections blending with the stillness of the night sky above. A low stone bench rests beneath a canopy of flowering vines, petals scattering lightly in the soft wind. Here, the women would pause in contemplation, tracing the shapes of leaves with their fingers, listening to the gentle hum of the garden, and allowing themselves to merge with its calm. Every step through this sacred space feels like a quiet meditation. The flowers, the moss, the stone, they are all part of a rhythm that does not rush, a rhythm older than time, slow and steady, welcoming each small gesture with care. The temples themselves rise in quiet elegance. Their columns are carved with patterns that suggest growth, cycles, and connection. You drift past one, letting your eyes follow the gentle curves and lines, imagining hands pressing petals into the carvings, smoothing edges, leaving subtle offerings of devotion. The air here is soft with incense that has long since faded, leaving only its memory, a delicate trace of warmth and care. Even the walls seem to hum quietly, holding the stories of those who came to nurture and to honor, and inviting you to rest in the gentle rhythm of their work. Along the edges of the garden, tall trees bend slightly in the evening breeze. Their leaves shimmer softly in the fading light, and you notice small creatures moving silently among the branches. They are part of the garden's quiet harmony, witnesses to the patience and care that has shaped this place. The priestesses of old would have noticed every detail, the curve of a leaf, the smoothness of a stone, the scent of a flower drifting on the air. Every gesture was small, deliberate, and full of presence. You float among these echoes, letting the calm fill your mind like soft, flowing water. The air is thick with the fragrance of flowers. each petal carrying its own gentle vibration, each blossom a small note in the garden's quiet song. You drift past beds of marigold, lavender, and pale white blooms that seem almost to glow in the soft light. The women who tended this garden believed that each plant carried a message, a blessing, a reminder of the divine feminine that flows through all life. You can sense it here, in every curve of the leaf, every ripple of light on the water, every gentle sway of branches in the breeze. At the center of the garden, a wide fountain pours water over a low stone basin. The sound is delicate, a soft trickle that moves like a lullaby across the quiet paths. Women long ago would kneel here, hands cupped to catch the cool liquid, offering prayers with each gentle touch. You drift close to the basin, imagining the soft reflections of candlelight in the water, the whisper of voices blending with the wind, and the gentle murmur of leaves. Each ripple carries devotion outward, touching stones, petals, and the air itself, a calm presence that seems to gather all that is sacred into a single, gentle breath. Nearby, a small cluster of birds stirs in a tree. Their wings move silently, folding and unfolding with the rhythm of the garden. The priestesses would have seen them as companions, spirit guides that mirrored the calm attentiveness of the human heart. You watch them, letting the slow unfolding of their wings, the quiet tilt of their heads, move through you as a gentle balm. The garden seems to respond, its fragrances, its leaves, its water, all flowing softly around you in harmony with the small movements of these tiny beings. The temples rise again in the distance, their arches softened by flowering vines that trail across their edges. You drift along the paths toward them, noticing the subtle hum in the air, the sense that every leaf and stone carries a memory, a quiet blessing, a soft echo of hands that have moved here with care. The women who tended these temples did not hurry. Each step, each gesture, each small prayer was deliberate and full of presence, a reminder that even stillness can hold wisdom and devotion. In a quiet corner, a stone altar is set beneath a tree whose leaves bend gently toward the earth. Petals and small bowls of water rest on its surface. The priestesses of old would kneel here, whispering prayers that drifted upward and outward, mingling with the soft fragrance of flowers and the patient hum of the garden. You drift close, feeling the calm settle around you like a soft blanket. Each breath becomes slower, each exhalation a quiet release into the serene rhythm of this sacred space. A small lamp flickers along the pathway, its flame bending softly in the evening breeze. Shadows stretch and curve across the stones, forming patterns that move slowly, quietly, like breathing. The gentle light illuminates the carvings on the columns, revealing subtle details of devotion. Hands tracing leaves, petals resting in bowls, eyes closed in silent prayer. Every small motion seems to ripple outward, touching air, water, stone, and heart. You float among these echoes, letting the calm of their presence carry you gently forward. The air grows cooler as twilight deepens. The fragrance of flowers mingles with the soft scent of damp earth, and the distant hum of insects forms a quiet background to the garden's slow song. You notice a gentle stream running along one edge of the temple grounds, water moving steadily over smooth stones. The priestesses of old would have tended this stream, smoothing stones, arranging petals, and letting the water carry prayers outward. You float along its edge, feeling the calm flow of the current, soft and steady, moving with a quiet patience that touches every part of the garden. The stars begin to appear in the darkening sky, faint points of light reflected in pools and streams, mirrored in petals and leaves. The garden seems to exhale slowly, as if in gratitude for each small gesture of care, each whispered prayer, each soft movement of hands and feet over stone and soil. You drift beneath the branches of tall trees, letting the gentle sway of leaves and the faint rustle of the wind lull your thoughts into quiet stillness. At the far edge of the garden, a quiet pavilion rests beneath a canopy of flowers. Here, the women would pause, offering the last prayers of the day, lighting small lamps, and allowing themselves to merge fully with the calm of the night. You float alongside them, feeling the softness of petals under fingertips, the gentle warmth of a fatting lamp, the stillness of the earth beneath your feet. Each breath becomes a soft wave, moving slowly in, moving slowly out, until mind and body are fully cradled by the serene rhythm of this sacred space. And now, as the night deepens and the moon rises above the silent temples, let your heart settle into the gentle flow of the garden. Let the petals, the stone, the water, and the quiet hum of devotion carry you into stillness. Let the subtle fragrance, the soft flicker of lamps, and the patient rhythm of nature guide you toward calm. Let us drift onward, cradled by the sacred care of this garden, carried gently by the unseen hands of those who tended it long ago. Now rest, as the stars return to their watch, and the silent temples hold the night in their tender embrace. The sanctuary lies nestled within a quiet grove, where trees arch overhead and filter the silver light of the rising moon. Soft shadows ripple across the moss-covered stones, and the air is filled with the delicate scent of sandalwood and jasmine. A gentle breeze moves through the branches, carrying whispers of leaves and the faint rustle of silk robes. The night feels suspended, holding its breath in reverent stillness. Along a narrow stone path, small lanterns flicker like captured stars, guiding the way toward the heart of the sanctuary. You float along this path, feeling the calm warmth of their glow brush against your skin. Each lantern seems to pulse gently, as if breathing, inviting you to move slowly, deliberately, toward a space where quiet devotion has lived for generations. The air hums softly with anticipation, yet it is gentle, not hurried, as though the night itself moves with tender patience. Inside the sanctuary, the room is small but luminous. Soft candlelight casts golden pools across the walls, dancing gently over carved figures and delicate patterns etched into stone. The floor is covered with mats and low cushions, each placed with quiet care, inviting those who arrive to sit, to breathe, and to rest. The air is still, yet alive with a soft energy, a gentle warmth that fills every corner without demanding attention. At the center of the room stands an arrangement of candles, each one placed with deliberate care. Their flames flicker softly, blending into a warm, steady glow that reaches every shadowed corner. Women who have tended this sanctuary for years move silently among the candles, their hands steady and deliberate. They place new flames, adjust old ones, and offer gentle bows of reverence. Each movement carries the weight of care, of presence, and of knowledge passed quietly from one generation to the next. New disciples sit in the soft glow, their eyes lowered, breathing in the calm of the room. They are here to receive initiation, to be welcomed into a circle of learning, patience, and sacred trust. The women who guide them do not speak loudly. Their words are soft, like a gentle stream that carries meaning without force. They move with care, adjusting a robe, offering a small cup of water, guiding hands toward the light without hurry. Every gesture is a quiet teaching, a reminder that wisdom flows through gentleness, not through command. The leader of the sanctuary lifts a single candle, holding it high. The flame shivers slightly, then steadies, casting a halo of warm light across the room. Each disciple is invited to light a candle from this flame. They do so slowly, carefully, feeling the warmth and weight of the moment. The tiny flames flicker, grow steady, and together form a constellation of soft light. Each flickering flame represents guidance, presence, and protection. You float among them, sensing the calm rhythm of the room, the soft energy of devotion flowing through every small gesture. A gentle bell rings in the background, soft and low, vibrating through the floor and into the hearts of those who sit quietly. The women move with serene attention, guiding the novices through their first silent prayers. Words are whispered, not spoken, carried on the breath like petals drifting across a pond. Each syllable folds into the candlelight, mingling with the warmth of the flames and the soft scent of incense, creating a gentle cocoon of peace. You notice the subtle movements, the way a hand brushes hair from a brow, the slight bow of a head, the careful lowering of an offering into a small dish. Each gesture is a teaching in presence, a reminder that the smallest acts carry profound meaning. The disciples mirror these movements, their bodies learning the rhythm of quiet devotion, their minds absorbing the calm steadiness of those who have walked this path before them. The leader walks slowly among them, her robes trailing softly across the stone floor. Her hands are empty, yet every movement conveys warmth, guidance, and protection. She pauses beside each disciple, offering a subtle nod, a gentle touch, a word spoken so softly it is almost a hum. The room responds as if alive. The flames lean toward her presence, the incense curls more gracefully in the air, and the disciples' breaths become slower, deeper, more in tune with the rhythm of the sanctuary. Candles are placed along the walls, each flame mirrored in small pools of water carefully set at intervals. The reflections dance quietly, casting golden ripples across the room. The disciples are invited to gaze into these reflections, to see not only their own faces, but also the essence of presence, calm, and gentle awareness. You float alongside them, feeling the soft warmth of the room settle within, carrying a sense of steady guidance that is both tender and protective. Soft drums echo faintly from outside, distant yet steady, like the heartbeat of the grove that surrounds the sanctuary. The women and novices respond by moving hands lightly in meditation, tracing patterns over the cushions, folding their arms, and allowing their palms to rest gently on the earth. Each motion is deliberate, unhurried, echoing the rhythm of the drums, the flicker of the candle flames, and the patient heartbeat of the night. You drift with them, matching breath with breath, letting the calm settle deeper into your body and mind. The initiation continues, not with haste or ceremony, but with gentle flowing movements that ripple softly through the room. Each disciple touches the flame, feels its warmth, and imagines it extending outward into the world, carrying patience, care, and quiet wisdom. The leader guides with subtle gestures, encouraging awareness of each breath, each movement, each heartbeat. The sanctuary holds these moments as a soft embrace, sheltering them with the enduring calm of candlelight and attentive presence. The disciples' eyes close, and a hush falls across the room. Only the flames, the distant hum of the grove, and the faint rustle of robes remain. The women guide the novices through a silent reflection, a meditation on guidance, care, and the gentle passage of knowledge. Each thought drifts lightly, folding into the warmth of the sanctuary, and each breath becomes a wave of calm, ebbing and flowing with ease. You notice how the room itself seems to participate. The walls breathe softly, the stone floor hums faintly, the candles lean ever so slightly toward the warmth of gathering devotion. Even the air seems to carry a subtle energy, wrapping all who sit here in quiet comfort. The sanctuary, the candles, the women, and the novices form a circle of presence, steady and enduring, where knowledge moves like a soft current, flowing without force, yet touching everything in its path. The leader steps to the center again, raising a small cup of water toward the flames. She pours it gently into a shallow basin, letting the liquid ripple softly across the surface. The reflections shimmer in candlelight, creating small waves of gold that dance across the walls and the faces of those gathered. The disciples watch quietly, sensing the subtle lesson. Guidance is like water, gentle, flowing, able to nourish without rushing, able to shape without demanding. You float in this lesson, letting it settle like soft sand into the mind. The novice disciples are then invited to pass a small flame to one another, each hand steady, each breath slow and attentive. The light spreads gradually, flicker by flicker, until every corner of the room glows with soft warmth. You drift among these flames, feeling how each one carries a memory of guidance, patience, and gentle knowledge. Each small flame seems to whisper, calm, care, presence. As the initiation winds toward its close, the women guide the novices to sit quietly with their flames before them. They close their eyes, letting the warmth, the flicker, and the soft hum of devotion fill their awareness. You float alongside them, letting the room's steady rhythm lull the mind and the body. Every heartbeat, every breath, every subtle movement blends into a flowing current of calm, carrying all who rest here into quiet peace. Finally, the leader bows softly, her hands touching the floor in reverence to the sanctuary, to the flames, and to the devotion that fills the room. The disciples follow, their movements gentle and deliberate, creating a chain of care, presence, and shared calm. The candles continue to glow, reflecting softly in the pools of water, a circle of light that will linger long after the room falls silent. And now, as the moon rises higher above the grove, as the lanterns outside sway gently in the night breeze, and as the candlelight bathes every corner of the sanctuary in warm, steady glow, let your own mind drift with the rhythm of this quiet place. Let your breath match the slow pulse of the room, the steady heartbeat of the earth, the soft flicker of the flames, and the tender guidance of those who have come before. Let us drift onward, carried by the warm, protective light of candle flames and gentle hands, into calm and restful sleep. Now rest, as the stars return to their watch, and the sanctuary holds the night in its tender embrace. The night stretches wide above a quiet hill, soft and endless, a deep velvet canopy sprinkled with stars. The air is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of night-blooming flowers and damp earth. Gentle winds stir the grass, making the hills sway ever so slightly, as if breathing along with the earth itself. Somewhere far away, an owl calls softly, a single note that echoes across the silence. Along the crest of the hill, a circle of women gathers, cloaked in soft fabrics that brush lightly against the grass. Their hands are empty, yet each movement carries presence, calm, and intention. They sit in deliberate formation, facing the sky, where stars shimmer faintly, forming constellations whose names have been passed down through generations. Each constellation is a story, a prayer, a guiding light. You float quietly among them, feeling the vast stillness of the night wrap around you like a gentle shawl. Center of the circle, a small fire flickers, its flames low and steady. The warm glow brushes the faces of those who sit closest, casting gentle shadows across the ground. The fire crackles softly, blending with the faint rustle of leaves and the quiet breathing of the hill. Each flicker of flame mirrors the stars above, tiny lights in motion, constant yet shifting. The women raise their hands to the sky, letting the night's energy flow through their fingers, through their palms, through the quiet rhythm of their hearts. Soft chants begin, delicate as wind through the trees. The words are long held, rhythmic but slow, rolling over the hill and mingling with the night air. Each chant moves outward, touching stars, touching grass, touching the heart of the listener. The sound is not loud or demanding. It flows gently, like water moving through a quiet valley. You feel it brushing against your mind, settling it, guiding it to slow and steady breathing. Above, constellations glimmer more clearly. The women trace invisible lines in the air, connecting stars with soft, deliberate gestures. Each gesture is a memory, a prayer, a story carried through centuries. They speak of beginnings and endings, of the cycles of life and the quiet wisdom that moves through time. You drift among them, imagining the silver light of stars touching fingertips, leaving gentle traces of warmth and calm in its wake. A soft drum begins somewhere at the edge of the circle, low and steady, like a heartbeat of the earth. The women's movements follow this pulse, hands rising and falling, arms swaying, bodies shifting with quiet intention. Each motion is a meditation, a gentle acknowledgement of the universe and the place of all life within it. You notice how the fire reflects in their eyes, small sparks mirrored beneath the vast night sky, and you feel the same steady rhythm in your own chest, slow and comforting. Small bowls of water rest at the edge of the circle. Some women dip their fingers lightly, letting droplets fall gently into the fire, producing small wisps of steam that curl upward, merging with the cool night air. Each droplet is a prayer, a soft blessing, a reminder that even the smallest movement can carry meaning. You float beside these actions, noticing the subtle warmth of the fire, the cool brush of night air, the quiet reflection of stars in the water. The women begin to hum, a soft, continuous vibration that rises and falls like gentle waves. The hum blends seamlessly with the wind, the rustle of grass, the low drum, and the crackle of the fire. It feels as though the night itself has begun to sing along, the stars shimmering in response, the earth vibrating ever so slightly beneath the circle. You drift in this sound, letting each note settle in your chest, in your limbs, in your mind, until every part of you moves in quiet harmony with the ritual. As the night deepens, the constellations seem to shift, revealing patterns that were hidden in the first light of dusk. The women trace these new formations with soft gestures, whispering the stories tied to each star. Some are tales of courage, some of compassion, some of stillness and patience. You float beside them, imagining the silver threads connecting stars across the heavens, each thread a gentle bridge from the sky to earth, from the divine to the human, from past to present. The fire dims slightly, casting a softer, more golden glow. Candles placed around the circle illuminate faces and hands with tender light. The women tilt their heads, letting the flicker of flame guide their eyes to the heavens, their gestures softening, slowing, merging with the rhythm of the night. Each movement is deliberate but effortless, a meditation of devotion and attention. You notice how the night air seems to pause, holding its breath in quiet respect for the ritual. A single woman rises, her silhouette framed against the backdrop of stars. She carries a small bowl of incense, and the smoke curls upward in soft spirals, joining the silver light of the stars above. She moves slowly, deliberately, passing among the seated women, letting the fragrance drift through the circle. Each inhalation is a shared breath, a connection, a gentle weaving of presence and awareness. You float beside her, sensing the calm energy flowing like a soft river through the circle. The chants become even slower, each word drawn out, each pause as meaningful as the sound itself. The women trace delicate patterns in the air with their hands, invisible ink of devotion and memory, drawing lines that connect the earth, the fire, the water, and the stars. The night becomes fluid, a soft blend of light, sound, and movement. You drift in this fluidity, carried gently on waves of calm, your mind and body swaying in harmony with the ritual. Some women extend their hands toward the sky, palms open, letting starlight brush the tips of their fingers. The stars seem to respond, blinking softly, shimmering in a rhythm that mirrors the subtle movements below. Each gesture is a prayer without words, a quiet offering of presence, a message of peace sent into the vastness of the universe. You float among these gestures, feeling the gentle pulse of connection, the steady flow of calm that touches every part of you. Small lanterns set along the perimeter of the circle flicker and sway in the gentle night breeze. Their light mingles with the fire and the candle flames, creating a soft tapestry of warmth and motion. Shadows dance across the faces of the women, over the grass, across the small bowls of water. The entire scene is alive with quiet life, a gentle interplay of light and shadow, of presence and stillness. You float along this tapestry, letting it envelop you completely. The chants gradually soften, fading into a quiet hum that blends with the rustling leaves and the faint, steady drumbeat of the earth. The women lower their hands slowly, bowing their heads, letting the last threads of sound and motion settle into the night. Each breath becomes slower, deeper, more in tune with the gentle rhythm of the hill, the fire, and the stars above. You drift with them, sinking into the soft calm that lingers, feeling the universe itself slow to a whisper. Finally, the fire dims to a warm glow, the candles flicker softly, and the stars stretch high above. Steady and eternal, the women sit quietly, hands resting in laps, eyes closed or gazing gently at the heavens. The night is complete, full of calm, devotion, and presence. You float among them, letting the vastness of sky, the gentle warmth of fire, and the tender rhythm of the ritual carry your mind into stillness. And now, as the night deepens and the wind moves softly through the grass, let your own awareness drift in the calm of this sacred hill. Let the gentle glow of flames, the silver light of stars, and the soft hum of devotion settle within you. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of candlelight is a gentle lullaby, guiding you toward deep, restful sleep. Let us drift onward, carried by the quiet song of stars and the soft rhythm of devoted hands. Now rest, as the universe holds its breath and the night cradles you in its tender embrace. The forest lies in stillness, its quiet depths bathed in the soft silver of a rising moon. Shadows curl between the trees, gentle and slow, like long fingers brushing across the forest floor. The air carries the subtle fragrance of damp earth, moss, and flowering night blossoms. A soft breeze rustles through the leaves, weaving delicate patterns of sound and movement that ripple across the sleeping woods. You float along a narrow path, guided only by the dim shimmer of moonlight filtering through the branches. Deep within the forest, hidden in a small clearing, a sanctuary rests like a secret waiting to be discovered. Its walls are carved from pale stone, smooth and cool to the touch, and vines creep along the edges, wrapping it gently in green tendrils. The entrance is small, inviting, and quiet, as though the temple itself breathes softly, inviting only those ready to step gently into its embrace. You drift closer, feeling the stillness of the air, the patient calm of the place that has existed for generations. Inside, the sanctuary is luminous with candlelight. Dozens of small flames cast soft shadows across the walls, flickering and blending in a warm, golden glow. Each candle rests on a carved stone pedestal, carefully placed to create a rhythm of light that moves through the space without hurry. The room is simple, yet full of presence, filled with the energy of countless rituals performed here through time. You notice the faint scent of incense, mingling with the warmth of the candles, creating an atmosphere of deep calm and quiet reverence. Women move slowly through the sanctuary, their movements deliberate, fluid, and full of quiet grace. Their robes brush lightly against the floor, and their hands trace soft patterns in the air as if shaping the energy of the room itself. Some carry small bowls of water, letting droplets fall gently into shallow dishes, creating tiny ripples that shimmer in the candlelight. Others offer subtle gestures of blessing, touching stones, leaves, or the edges of the altar, connecting all things in a web of soft attention and presence. You float among them, absorbing the steady rhythm of their devotion. In the center of the sanctuary rests a small altar, adorned with natural offerings, flowers in muted colors, smooth stones, and bowls of water reflecting candlelight like tiny pools of starlight. The women approach it one by one, bowing slowly, placing their hands gently upon it and whispering prayers that are barely audible, blending with the soft hum of the sanctuary. Their voices rise and fall like a gentle tide, carrying wishes for life, for protection, for the quiet cycles of existence. You drift closer, feeling the calm energy pulse through the room, wrapping around your body like a soft, warm blanket. Some women kneel before the altar, closing their eyes and letting their minds settle as their breaths deepen. They move slowly with each inhalation and exhalation, as though their hearts are in quiet conversation with the sanctuary itself. Each movement, each pause, each tiny gesture carries meaning that is felt rather than spoken. You watch and feel, sensing the subtle energy flowing through the space, connecting every life, every breath, every presence in a rhythm that is patient and enduring. A faint drumbeat begins, low and slow, coming from somewhere just outside the sanctuary. Its rhythm is steady, like the heartbeat of the forest, grounding each movement, each breath. The women respond by shifting their positions, tracing soft arcs with their hands, letting the drum guide them into a deeper stillness. Every motion is careful, flowing, meditative, as if the air itself is responding, bending gently around their presence. You drift with them, letting the beat sink into your chest, slowing your mind, steadying your heartbeat. The rituals move forward without hurry. Small bowls of oil are lit, the flames flickering and dancing softly across the walls. The women guide novices to approach the altar, showing them how to offer light without disturbance, how to carry presence without effort. Each instruction is silent or whispered, and each action is mirrored, slowly learned, absorbed into the quiet rhythm of the sanctuary. You float beside them, feeling the gentle care of knowledge passed from hand to hand, from heart to heart, without rush, without demand. Soft water flows through the sanctuary from a narrow channel carved in stone. It trickles into tiny basins, over pebbles that smooth its sound into a gentle, soothing rhythm. Some women dip their hands lightly into the flowing water, letting it run over their fingers and palms, imagining each droplet carrying blessings, wisdom, and calm to the wider world. The water reflects the candlelight, sending tiny golden glimmers across the walls and the faces of those seated in quiet meditation. You drift with the reflections, feeling each flicker echo as a gentle lullaby for the mind. The women begin a quiet chant, low and rhythmic, blending with the murmur of water, the soft drum, and the flicker of flames. Each word flows slowly, carrying calm and devotion into every corner of the sanctuary. The chant is not hurried. It is steady measure, a soft wave that rises and falls gently. You feel it brush against your thoughts, settling each one into stillness, letting them drift like leaves on a calm river. Some of the women move toward the edges of the sanctuary, bowing to the walls and touching the vines that climb along the stone. Their movements are soft, deliberate, an acknowledgement of the life surrounding the sanctuary, the quiet presence that exists beyond the walls. You watch how the energy of devotion flows outward, through hands, through gestures, into the forest, blending with the whispers of leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the gentle sway of branches under moonlight. The altar glows softly in the center of the room. Women approach it once more, carrying offerings of flowers, grains, and small carvings. Each item is placed carefully as a prayer, as an expression of respect for life and death, for beginnings and endings. The motions are unhurried, precise yet tender. You float among these gestures, feeling the calm spread like ripples across water, touching every thought, every breath, every quiet corner of the mind. The air is thick with the soft warmth of shared presence. The women sit in a circle around the altar, eyes closed, hands resting lightly in their laps. The candlelight flickers against their faces, softening every line and every shadow. The sanctuary seems to breathe with them, a gentle pulse that echoes through stone, through flame, through air. Every heartbeat, every inhalation, every soft sigh blends into a harmony that is slow, steady, and soothing. Some women rise and walk to the outer edges of the room, tracing the lines of the walls, touching stones and vines, acknowledging the quiet guardians of the sanctuary. Each gesture is careful, filled with gentle reverence, a reminder that all things are part of the sacred whole. You float beside them, sensing the continuity of care, the steady pulse of devotion that has existed here for countless generations. The night deepens. The fire in the center of the sanctuary dwindles to a warm glow. The candles flicker ever so softly, and the water trickles gently through its stone channels. The women sit quietly, their eyes lowered or softly gazing at the flickering flames, letting the energy of devotion and presence settle fully into the room. The sanctuary hums with quiet life, a gentle reminder that calm, care, and sacred attention are woven into every moment. You drift with the hum, letting it flow through your body, your mind, your heart. Finally, the women bow their heads in silent gratitude, their hands resting gently upon their laps. They breathe slowly, in unison with the pulse of the forest, the gentle flow of water, and the flicker of candlelight. The sanctuary is at peace, holding the night in a tender embrace, offering calm and presence to every soul who enters. You float in this calm, letting it seep into your body and mind, carrying a sense of serenity, safety, and quiet wisdom deep within. And now, as the forest whispers softly in the night, as the moonlight stretches across leaves and stones, and as the sanctuary cradles its quiet devotion, let your own heart drift in this rhythm. Let the gentle flicker of flames, the flowing water, and the tender presence of sacred care guide you toward deep, restful sleep. Let us drift onward, carried by the quiet pulse of the sanctuary, the gentle hands of devotion, and the tender embrace of night itself. Now rest, as the stars return to watch over the hidden temple and your heart floats in peaceful stillness. The evening air is soft and warm, carrying the faint perfume of jasmine and sandalwood. Shadows stretch gently across the courtyard, long and slow, tracing patterns on the stone floor like quiet memories. Above, the first stars of night begin to appear, tiny points of silver light blinking against the deepening indigo sky. The world seems to pause, holding its breath, as if aware that something sacred is about to unfold. You float lightly through this gentle space, the hush of twilight wrapping around you like a silken shawl. In the center of the courtyard, a circle is formed. Women stand quietly, draped in flowing silks that catch the faint glow of lanterns hung from high wooden beams. Each fabric moves softly with the breeze, brushing against the earth like water lapping at a quiet shore. The folds of their robes seem alive, as if the cloth itself carries whispers of ancient stories, tales of power, grace, and devotion. You drift closer, feeling the steady heartbeat of presence that radiates from the circle. A single bell tolls in the distance, its sound pure and resonant, echoing through the courtyard and into the surrounding gardens. With the toll, the women begin to move. Their feet step lightly, almost floating above the stones, and their hands rise in gentle arcs that trace the patterns of constellations. Each gesture is soft, deliberate, and full of meaning, as if the air itself bends to the rhythm of their devotion. You float beside them, feeling the quiet pulse of their motion settle into your own heartbeat, slowing it, deepening it, cradling it. The dance unfolds in layers. Some women spin slowly, silks unfurling like the petals of night-blooming flowers, catching the glow of lanterns and the faint shimmer of starlight. Others kneel briefly, bowing to the earth, tracing soft patterns in the dust with fingertips, leaving invisible echoes of devotion that linger long after the hands are lifted. The movements are not hurried. Each step, each sway, each arc of an arm is a meditation, a gentle storytelling in motion. You drift among them, letting the rhythm flow through your body and mind. Soft drums begin, distant and measured like the slow pulse of the earth beneath the courtyard. The women follow the rhythm, their movements rising and falling like gentle waves. The sound is grounding, a quiet tether that guides the dance without commanding it. Between the beats, a faint flute hums, weaving a melody that rises and falls, curling through the air like smoke from incense. The instruments and movements blend seamlessly, creating a living tapestry of sound and motion. You float within it, feeling the calm settle in your chest, in your limbs, in your mind. Some dancers move toward the lanterns, letting the light catch in their silks, creating flickers of gold and shadow that ripple across the courtyard. Others move in pairs, hands barely touching, weaving around one another with the soft grace of a gentle wind. Each connection, each brush of silk against silk, carries the sense of continuity, the quiet echo of time passing without hurry, without end. You drift through these patterns, noticing how the gentle light and slow motion seem to dissolve the edges of the world, letting everything soften and expand. The women begin a low, humming chant, barely audible, yet resonant enough to blend with the rustle of silk and the distant flute. Each note rises slowly and falls even more slowly, a soft wave that moves through the dancers and into the surrounding gardens. You notice how the sound seems to bend around your body, settling each thought, quieting each worry, drawing the mind into a steady, meditative pace. Each hum, each step, each breath of the dancers is a prayer, moving like wind across the stones, leaving a gentle trace in the still air. Some women kneel, palms pressed lightly to the earth, tracing soft circles in the dust. Others spin slowly above them, silks unfurling in soft arcs that mirror the movement of clouds across the night sky. Each motion is a story, an echo of devotion, an acknowledgement of the divine feminine moving through time. You float beside them, imagining the wind carrying their movements outward, across hills, across rivers, across forests, touching all things with quiet grace. Lanterns sway gently in the night breeze, their flicker casting a dance of shadows across faces and fabrics. The interplay of light and movement creates a rhythm that is both calming and mesmerizing, a soft pulse that guides the mind towards stillness. The women's gestures echo the movements of stars, tracing paths of constellations, leaving invisible threads of connection that reach from the earth into the sky. You drift among these threads, feeling them weave gently through your body and mind, untangling tension and softening thought. A subtle drum roll begins, slow and deliberate, guiding the dancers into a circle at the center of the courtyard. Here, they move in unison, spinning, kneeling, rising, their motions blending seamlessly into a shared rhythm. The silk swirls around them like gentle waves, carrying whispers of long-forgotten prayers, of devotion and care, of stories that are older than memory. You float in the center of this circle, letting the calm, the rhythm, the gentle motion wash over you, filling every corner of awareness with peace. Some dancers lift their hands toward the sky, palms open, letting the lantern light brush against their fingertips. Each gesture is an offering, a silent acknowledgement of the stars above, of the quiet energy that moves through all life. The movements are slow, deliberate, almost floating, a tender connection between earth and heaven. You drift beside these gestures, sensing the stillness and the continuity of devotion that flows from one generation to another, unbroken and soft. The chant becomes softer, a low hum now, blending with the steady drumbeat, the flutter of silk, and the gentle rustle of leaves. Each motion slows, each step becomes a whisper, each breath lengthens, expanding into the surrounding night. The women trace soft arcs with their hands, letting the final threads of motion dissolve into the courtyard, into the night air, into the quiet pulse of the world around them. You float with them, letting every sense settle into deep calm. Lanterns burn lower, their soft glow mingling with the faint light of stars. The women sit quietly, hands resting on their laps, eyes closed, letting the energy of the dance settle into the stones, into the earth, into the air. Their breath is slow, their presence steady, a gentle reminder that devotion need not be loud or hurried, that grace moves quietly like a soft wind across time. You drift among them, feeling the same calm pulse echo through your own body, your heart, your mind. Finally, the dancers rise and move to the edge of the courtyard, bowing lightly to the night sky, to the lanterns, to one another. Their silks flow around them, soft as whispers, fading into stillness. The courtyard is quiet now, the drums silent, the hum dissolved, leaving only the soft flicker of dying lanterns and the gentle night breeze. You float in this quiet, letting it fill every corner of your awareness, settling every thought, every breath, every part of you. And now, as the night embraces the courtyard, as the stars watch silently above, and as the echoes of divine movement linger in the air, let your heart drift in this calm rhythm. Let the gentle sweep of silk, the soft tap of feet, and the tender pulse of devotion guide you toward deep, peaceful sleep. Let us drift onward, carried by the whispers of ancient movement and the quiet breath of night. Now rest, as the lanterns fade and the divine echoes settle softly around your heart. The night moves quietly across the hills, brushing the world with a soft, velvet darkness. A gentle wind carries the scent of damp stone and night-blooming flowers, curling through the trees and along the paths that lead to a hidden shrine. The air is cool and calm, carrying with it the faint, steady hum of life that stirs beneath the moonlight. You drift along a narrow, winding path, each step slower than the last, as if the earth itself wishes you to enter this sacred space in quiet stillness. The shrine rests nestled against a rocky incline, its walls carved from pale stone, worn smooth by years of devotion. Shadows cling softly to every crevice, curling gently like smoke from a candle, and the faint glimmer of moss traces delicate patterns along the edges of the carved stone. The entrance is unassuming, a narrow archway that beckons without urgency, a quiet invitation to those who approach with reverence and calm. You float closer, feeling the cool stone beneath your fingertips and the hush of the night pressing softly against your senses. Inside, the shrine is luminous with the soft glow of oil lamps. Their flames flicker like tiny stars, reflecting across the stone walls and floor, casting gentle, wavering shadows. Each lamp rests carefully on a carved pedestal, and the soft light weaves a web of warmth that spreads across the room. The air carries the subtle fragrance of incense and dried herbs, mingling with the faint scent of candle wax. You drift further into the shrine, feeling the atmosphere cradle you in stillness, each step a soft breath in the rhythm of the night. Women move quietly through the space, their robes brushing against the stone with a whispering sound. Each gesture is slow, deliberate, and tender, hands tracing the edges of the carved altars, brushing over symbols etched into the walls, or lifting small bowls of water to offer gentle blessings. Their presence is a soft hum in the room, a delicate rhythm that flows through the shrine like a quiet current. You float among them, feeling their devotion as a gentle warmth that settles in your chest and quiets your thoughts. In the center of the shrine rests a small altar, carved from the same pale stone as the walls. It is simple yet reverent, adorned with tiny offerings, flowers, smooth stones, bowls of water, and faintly glowing candles. The women approach it in silence, bowing gently, placing their hands upon it, and whispering prayers that echo softly against the walls. Each word, each murmur, is a thread of care, hope, and protection, woven together into a delicate tapestry of devotion. You lean close, feeling the quiet energy rise from the altar and ripple outward like soft waves across the air. Some women kneel, heads bowed, palms pressed to the cool stone. Their breathing is slow and rhythmic, rising and falling in time with a faint flicker of candlelight. Each movement carries a gentle weight of reverence, a soft acknowledgement of life, of protection, of guidance for those beyond the walls. Others trace the edges of the altar with fingertips, leaving invisible patterns that shimmer softly in the mind's eye, echoes of devotion that linger long after the hands are lifted. You drift with them, feeling the calm pulse of ritual settle into your own heart, steadying every breath. A soft bell chimes in the distance, its sound pure and resonant, echoing faintly through the shrine and into the surrounding hills. The women respond by raising their voices in a low, melodic chant, barely audible, yet resonant enough to blend with the flicker of lamps and the gentle rustle of robes. Each note rises slowly, carrying a sense of continuity, and falls even more slowly, letting the sound settle like dew over the stones and the hearts of those who listen. You drift in this melody, letting it flow into every corner of your awareness, quieting every thought, softening every edge. Some of the women move to the edges of the room, bowing to the carved walls and touching the stone lightly, tracing the lines of the shrine with gentle reverence. Others kneel beside small pools of water, letting their fingers trace the surface, creating ripples that shimmer in the candlelight. The water reflects the soft glow of the lamps, carrying tiny flickers of illumination across the faces and hands of those present. Each gesture, each movement is an echo of care, a quiet expression of hope, protection, and attention that has passed through generations. You float beside them, feeling the calm, patient devotion settle into your chest, flowing slowly through every thought. The women's whispers grow softer, blending with the gentle hum of the shrine, the faint drip of water from a small channel, and the subtle creak of old wood in the corners. Their voices carry prayers for the living and the departed, for those far away and those present, each one a soft, fragile thread of love and care. The air vibrates gently with this energy, creating a cocoon of calm that surrounds every presence in the room. You drift among these threads, feeling each one brush against your mind like a soft, protective veil. Some women lift small lamps and carry them slowly to the entrance of the shrine. The flames flicker against their robes, casting long, gentle shadows across the walls. They bow lightly, offering the lamps to the night, and then return to their places by the altar, moving with slow, deliberate grace. Each step is a meditation, each breath a quiet prayer, each gesture a bridge between stone, flame, and air. You float beside them, feeling the serene rhythm of movement settle deep into your body, your mind, and your heart. The central altar glows softly, a pool of warm light in the center of the shrine. Women approach it one last time, bowing gently, offering quiet gestures of blessing and whispering soft, unhurried words that ripple through the room. The echoes of these prayers mingle with the faint hum of water, the subtle scent of incense, and the steady pulse of presence that fills the shrine. You drift closer, letting the calm energy flow into you, untangling tension, quieting thoughts, and expanding the sense of stillness around you. The night deepens and the lamps flicker gently, their glow softening into quiet pools of light. The women kneel, hands resting lightly in their laps, eyes closed or gazing softly at the altar. The shrine breathes with them, a living presence that cradles every movement, every breath, every whispered word. You float among them, feeling the calm, steady rhythm of devotion and care, letting it seep into every corner of your awareness. A final hum rises, soft and low, blending seamlessly with the stillness of the night outside. The women bow their heads in silent gratitude, palms pressed lightly together or resting on their knees. The The shrine settles fully into stillness, holding the prayers, the gestures, the quiet devotion in its stone and air. You drift in this quiet, letting it fill every part of your being, carrying a sense of peace, protection, and calm that lingers beyond the walls of the shrine. And now, as the night embraces the stones, as the flicker of lamps softens into memory, and as the whispers of devotion fade gently into the air, let your heart rest in this calm. Let the soft echoes of prayer, the gentle movement of hands, and the warm glow of devotion guide you toward deep, restful sleep. Let us drift onward, carried by the quiet pulse of the shrine, the gentle hum of whispered prayers, and the tender embrace of night itself. Now rest, as the stars return and the world holds its breath around you. The world leans gently toward evening, and the sky softens into shades of rose and violet. A quiet lake rests in a hidden valley, its waters still and clear, reflecting the slow dance of sunlight fading into the first silver of the moon. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of water lilies and reeds, mingled with the soft hum of distant insects and the occasional rustle of leaves. You float along the shoreline, each step lighter than the last, as if the earth itself encourages stillness and deep breathing. The lake spreads wide before you, a mirror for the heavens, rippling faintly where gentle winds pass across its surface. Trees line the edges, their leaves brushing the water with a soft caress, sending tiny rings of movement outward, expanding slowly and then fading into calm. Here, time seems to bend, bending around the quiet presence of water and sky. You drift closer, feeling the gentle pull of its reflection, as though the lake itself invites you to slow, to notice, to simply be. Women gather along the banks, their robes flowing lightly in the breeze, feet touching the cool edge of the water. Some sit upon smooth stones, gazing into the mirrored surface, while others kneel, hands extended toward the water, fingertips tracing tiny circles that expand like soft prayers. Each motion is gentle, deliberate, a quiet offering to the lake and to the spirits that it holds. You move among them, letting your senses soften and your breath lengthen in response to the peaceful rhythm of their devotion. A lone woman rises and steps into the shallows. The water embraces her ankles, cool and whispering, as she lifts her hands to the sky. The sun, low on the horizon, glows against the clouds in a tender fire of gold and pink, while the moon begins to show its pale crescent in the twilight. Her eyes follow the shifting light, tracing the movement of day into night, a silent reflection of the cycles of life. The lake catches each shimmer, each fold of color, folding them gently back into its surface, so that the sky and water blend into one calm, endless expanse. The women begin to chant softly, a melodic hum that rises and falls like a gentle tide. Their voices mix with the soft splash of water and the rustle of reeds, forming a sound that is both part of the earth and part of the heavens. Each chant carries a sense of continuity, a recognition of life, devotion, and the quiet threads that connect one moment to the next. You float within this gentle sound, letting it echo across your thoughts and calm the mind, as though each note is a soft hand pressing lightly on your shoulders, inviting release. Some women release small floating offerings into the water, bowls of flowers, small candles, tiny stones inscribed with prayers. Each offering drifts slowly, carried by the gentle current, and their reflections shimmer alongside them. The lake seems to hold each one in careful balance, reflecting the flame, the petals, and the smooth surfaces with the same reverence that the women themselves display. You drift beside the drifting gifts, noticing how the movement of water turns each into a small, luminous meditation, flowing softly without effort, guided only by devotion and the lake's gentle embrace. Along the far shore, a woman dips a hand into the water, letting it rise slowly in droplets that scatter like tiny stars before falling back into the stillness. She smiles faintly, as though sensing the presence of unseen beings that dwell beneath the lake's surface, guardians of reflection and memory. Around her, others trace patterns in the sand, soft lines that curve and twist before the waves wash them away. Each pattern is a fleeting expression of intention, devotion, and connection, echoing the deeper rhythms of the water and sky. You float among these gestures, feeling their soft resonance settle into your own chest, expanding like a gentle tide. The moon rises slowly, casting a silver path across the water. Its light flickers on the ripples, creating a ribbon of calm that stretches from shore to shore. The women walk along this path barefoot, letting their reflections mingle with the moonlight. Their movements are slow and deliberate, like a prayer in motion. Each step traces a soft imprint in the wet sand, a temporary mark of care and presence, fatting gently as the water laps softly against the edges. You follow alongside, letting your thoughts slow with each passing moment, carried by the tranquil rhythm of movement and reflection. Some gather stones and dip them briefly into the water, murmuring quiet words that ripple outward. Each word is absorbed by the lake and reflected back, doubled in gentle light. The water holds these whispers without judgment, offering them up to the sky and returning them as calm energy. You drift along with these small acts, sensing the careful weaving of intention and devotion, the way the lake becomes a mirror not just of light, but of care, faith, and continuity. In the deeper parts of the lake, lilies float silently, their pale blossoms resting gently upon the mirrored surface. Women drift alongside them, brushing petals softly, letting their hands hover above the water as though touching the breath of something sacred. The lilies reflect the sky above, pale and glowing, and the women's faces mirrored alongside them. Each reflection is tender and transient, a gentle reminder that life, devotion, and beauty exist in quiet, fleeting moments, and that stillness can hold them fully if only we notice. A soft breeze moves across the valley, sending ripples across the water. The women lean into it, faces turned toward the motion, hair and robes brushing gently against the wind. Their chants soften, blending seamlessly with the faint rustle of reeds and the distant call of night birds. Each sound folds into the next, creating a seamless cocoon of calm. You float within this gentle symphony, each note resting like a feather, carrying away tension, inviting deep stillness and slow, serene breathing. As twilight deepens into night, lanterns are lit along the shore. Their soft, golden glow dances on the surface of the water, reflected in delicate patterns that ripple and shimmer. The women gather near the lanterns, their hands clasped, eyes closed or gazing softly at the reflections. Each light is a small prayer, a gentle offering of warmth and guidance, mirrored by the calm water below. You drift among them, letting the glow seep into your awareness, carrying a sense of safety, care, and quiet contemplation. The water grows still again, reflecting the moon fully now, a perfect circle of silver. The women kneel or sit along the lake's edge, their faces bathed in its light. A final chant rises, soft and low, carrying the devotion of the day into the night. The lake holds it, accepting each note, each whisper, each gentle intention, and reflects it back with equal grace. You float in this calm, letting it fill every corner of your mind, body, and heart, feeling the quiet pulse of devotion settle deep within. The night stretches on, gentle and unhurried. The women release the last of their offerings, stepping back and bowing slightly, letting the lake hold their intentions in silence. The water reflects the moon, the stars, the lanterns, and the faces of those present, weaving them all into a single tapestry of peace. You drift alongside, feeling the calm extend through your entire being, like a soft, protective embrace. And now, as the winds settle, as the ripples fade, and as the night fully embraces the valley, let your thoughts quiet completely. Let the lake of reflection hold your worries, your fleeting concerns, and offer back only calm, serenity, and gentle stillness. Let your heart float like a lily upon its surface, held in light and quiet, free from strain, tenderly cradled in the rhythm of water and devotion. Let us drift onward, carried by the soft reflections of water and moonlight, the gentle hum of prayers, and the serene embrace of night itself. Now rest, as the stars return, the water settles, and the world holds its breath around you. The day stretches lazily toward evening, and a soft golden glow filters through the trees, painting the world in gentle warmth. A temple rests quietly in a hidden grove, its stone walls kissed by dappled sunlight. Between columns draped in flowing fabrics, light gathers like soft whispers, spilling across the floor in beams that seem almost alive. You drift slowly through the temple courtyard, feeling the warmth of the sun and the cool shadow of stone at the same time, a serene balance that invites your mind to quiet. Through the veils, movements emerge fluid and deliberate. Priestesses move in slow harmony, their hands tracing patterns in the air, fingertips catching stray threads of sunlight. Each motion is a soft prayer, an offering of presence, care, and guidance. The light touches their robes and faces, highlighting gentle smiles and closed eyes, showing the peaceful concentration that flows from deep within. You float among them, your senses softening to every sound, the faint rustle of cloth, the muted footfalls on stone, the quiet hum of devotion that fills the space. The temple itself seems to breathe, the walls holding warmth, the floor reflecting light, the veils swaying as if carried by an unseen current. Beams of light break through the openings above, tracing paths through the air like gentle rivers of gold. Each movement of the priestesses seems to catch the light, shaping it into patterns that flow with their hands and bodies. It is as if the temple itself joins in the ritual, the light and motion forming a quiet dance that reaches toward the heavens while remaining anchored to the earth. Soft incense drifts through the space, curling upward in invisible threads. Its scent is warm, earthy, a gentle invitation to calm. Each breath carries it into your lungs and your chest softens, rising and falling with a slow, steady rhythm. The sound of distant bells echoes faintly, a slow, deliberate note that seems to pause time itself. Each tone mingles with the soft light, with the motions of the priestesses, creating a calm pulse that flows through the room and into your own heartbeat. The priestesses gather near a central altar, their veils trailing lightly across the stone floor. Here, the ceremonies take shape, offerings of flowers, bowls of water, and small lanterns of flickering flame. Hands hover above the objects before touching them, tracing soft circles that mirror the movements of the sun and moon above. The light catches on each offering, reflecting softly into the eyes of those present. You float closer, observing the care in each gesture, the thoughtfulness that turns every small act into devotion, every movement into sacred rhythm. One priestess lifts a bowl of water, tilting it gently so that the surface trembles with reflected light. The water mirrors the beams above, capturing sun, sky, and stone in a single shimmering plane. She dips her fingers into the liquid, letting drops fall back in slow arcs, each one creating tiny ripples that spread across the surface. The movement is so delicate, so intentional, that it seems to slow even the air around you. You follow the ripples with your gaze, feeling them soften your thoughts, drawing your attention away from worry and into a gentle, flowing presence. Veils flutter softly as the priestesses move, brushing against stone and each other with barely audible whispers. The light finds every fold and edge, tracing soft lines across their forms. Each step is a meditation, each gesture a prayer. They move as though the space itself is part of the ritual, the temple responding with gentle shadows and warm illumination. You drift alongside them, carried by the rhythm, noticing how each subtle movement conveys intention, care, and the quiet power of devotion. A gentle breeze enters through the open columns, stirring the veils and the edges of garments. The light dances upon the shifting fabrics, creating transient patterns on the stone floor, like liquid gold moving in response to the soft wind. The priestesses pause, their hands lifted, faces turned toward the glow. In this moment, the air itself seems still, and the space between earth and sky feels thin, as though the veil of light itself could guide the spirit upward. You breathe slowly, matching the rhythm, feeling the gentle encouragement of stillness and presence. Lanterns are brought forward, tiny flames nested in bowls of colored glass. Their glow mingles with the beams of sunlight, softening the room further, adding warmth to the already gentle light. Each flame is held carefully, raised, and set upon the altar. The light shivers against the veils, turning every movement into a subtle play of shadow and glow. You watch as the priestesses move among the lanterns, their hands guiding each flame with reverence, their motions slow and unhurried, carrying the calm of intention into the very air you breathe. Soft chants rise, blending with the warmth and light, a steady murmur that seems to hum in harmony with the heart of the temple itself. The words are ancient, their meaning carried not in the intellect but in the vibration, in the way they seem to bend the air and still the mind. You float among these sounds, letting them ripple through you like water, washing away tension and filling the spaces within with gentle resonance. Each chant becomes a soft anchor, a tether to presence, to the sacred rhythm of care unfolding around you. The priestesses move in gentle circles around the altar, their veils creating trails of light in their wake. Each step is a pulse of calm energy, each gesture a quiet expression of guidance. They touch the lanterns, lift offerings, brush their hands over flowing fabrics, all with deliberate serenity. The air itself seems to respond, warm and still, a cocoon of light, sound, and gentle motion. You drift within this cocoon, feeling the quiet power of subtle intention, noticing how a single careful movement can ripple outward, touching everything in its path with gentle influence. At the edge of the temple, water from a small fountain trickles softly, its song mingling with the chants and the hum of the air. The light reflects on its surface, scattering in soft, golden sparks. Priestesses pause to touch the water, lifting droplets that glimmer as they fall back. Each drop mirrors the sun, the veils, the careful rhythm of devotion. You trace these movements with your eyes, feeling the soft, reflective energy settle into your own chest, carrying warmth and calm with every slow, deliberate breath. The ceremony continues in hushed, tender rhythm. Each priestess moves with mindfulness. Each beam of light illuminates intention. Each ripple of water and flutter of veil blends into a seamless meditation. There is no hurry here, no strain, only the careful weaving of heaven and earth through gesture, sound, and illumination. You float alongside them, your awareness softening, your heartbeat matching the gentle pulse of the temple, carried by the rhythm of devotion and the quiet brilliance of light. As the sun dips further, the beams stretch longer and softer, filtering through the veils like streams of honey. Lanterns glow steadily, a companion to the natural light, their warmth joining the fading sun. The priestesses pause in final gestures, hands lifted, faces serene, and the temple seems to exhale, releasing a gentle sigh into the evening. The air is still, holding the light, the shadows, and the reverent calm of every movement. You drift within this serenity, letting it settle into your bones, your mind, your spirit. Finally, the priestesses lower their hands, stepping back with slow, deliberate grace. The veils fall softly, lanterns shimmer, and the light fades gently into the embrace of twilight. The temple holds the echoes of devotion, the warmth of intentional movement, and the delicate power of light guiding hearts and minds. You float amidst this calm, feeling the quiet energy of sacred presence, the gentle lesson of influence through care and attention, and the comforting rhythm of heaven touching earth. Let us drift onward now, as the soft beams of light fade into dusk, as veils settle and lanterns glow in gentle memory. Let the serene rhythm of movement, light, and devotion carry you into rest. Now rest, as the stars return above, the temple sleeps quietly, and the world cradles you in its tender embrace. Twilight settles softly across the hills, and the air carries the faint scent of jasmine and stone warmed by the day. A hidden temple rests quietly among climbing vines and moss-covered columns, where sunlight filters through leaves, scattering gentle patterns across marble floors. You float through the archways, noticing how dust and petals drift lazily in the air, like tiny memories suspended in calm. The temple feels alive, yet hushed, as though holding its breath, keeping secrets of long-forgot devotion. Inside, the halls stretch wide and serene. The marble echoes softly under each footstep, carrying the faint sound of wind that slips through cracks and openings in the stone. Here, the songs of women who once tended the sacred spaces linger invisibly, like delicate threads woven into the air itself. Each note seems to hum quietly against the walls, a memory of gentle voices, a soft cadence that invites your own breathing to slow. You drift deeper, carried by the sensation of reverent stillness and the faint vibration of melodies that have lasted through centuries. Columns rise like guardians, draped in ivy and veiled in shadow. Light filters through openings, striking the edges of carved reliefs, figures of women with flowing hair, hands lifted, faces serene. Their gestures are frozen yet fluid, as if captured mid-song, mid-prayer. You trace your gaze along the carvings, noticing how the light shapes and reshapes them in soft gold and shadow. Every figure seems to hum with unspoken devotion, each a quiet note in the lingering symphony of care and attention that fills the temple. Along the edges of the halls, small altars hold remnants of offerings, bowls of water, faded flowers, and stones smoothed by time. They wait silently, witnesses to prayers once spoken and songs once sung. You move past them, feeling the subtle warmth of intention left behind. Each offering seems to pulse gently, a heartbeat of devotion, reminding you that even forgotten gestures carry meaning when made with care. The temple holds these echoes patiently, allowing the past to mingle with the present in soft, tranquil harmony. The air carries faint, almost imperceptible melodies. A soft wind brushes through open windows, lifting leaves and loose petals, causing them to drift across the stone floors like floating notes. You follow them with your eyes, each movement gentle and deliberate, a visual rhythm that mirrors the songs whispered here long ago. In this quiet space, you sense the continuity of devotion, the way gentle care and soft voices ripple through time, never entirely lost, always present in the stillness of stone and shadow. Deep within the temple, a central chamber opens into a small, vaulted hall. The marble glows faintly in the fading light, warmed by the touch of sun through high windows. Here, the priestesses once sang, lifting their voices to touch both earth and sky. The ceiling bears delicate carvings of spirals and flowing patterns, capturing the motion of sound in frozen form. You rest your gaze on them, imagining how their hands and voices moved in harmony, guiding the air and the light in a sacred dance. Even now, you can feel the soft pulse of these motions, slow and steady, filling the chamber with invisible resonance. A single bowl of water sits on a low altar, catching the last light of day. It trembles slightly, as if stirred by some unseen hand, reflecting fractured patterns of gold and rose across the walls. You watch the reflections shift and shimmer, noticing how each movement mirrors a long-forgotten gesture of devotion, a song once sung with care and intention. The water becomes a mirror of memory, carrying the tender energy of attention through the centuries, connecting you with all who have walked these halls before. Along the marble floors, faded petals and leaves drift like gentle dancers. Their movement traces invisible rhythms in the air, soft lines that echo the melodies of voices no longer heard aloud. You sense the care that shaped these motions, the slow attentiveness of women who nurtured the sacred space with patience and devotion. Each fluttering leaf is a soft exhale, each petal a whispered note, joining in a symphony of presence that moves as gently as the breath within your own chest. The temple is filled with a subtle warmth, the memory of countless hands shaping, lifting, and tending. You notice the walls, etched with fine lines and carved shapes of flora and flowing hair. Each detail seems to hold a story, a song embedded in the marble. Light drifts across these carvings, softening edges, highlighting delicate forms, and revealing how attention and care can leave traces that endure, even when voices fade. You float along these lines, tracing them with your eyes, feeling the gentle rhythm of devotion echo quietly within your own being. A narrow staircase winds upward, its stone steps worn smooth. You ascend slowly, each step a meditation, each touch of foot upon marble a reminder of soft persistence. At the top, a small balcony opens to the twilight sky. Here, the temple seems to breathe with the wind, carrying faint notes of long-forgotten songs outward, scattering them across the grove below. You listen as the melodies drift, soft and tender, mingling with the scent of leaves and the last light of day. Even though the voices are gone, the songs remain, carried in the very air, soft yet persistent, like gentle threads binding past and present. The balcony overlooks a courtyard, where vines and flowers have reclaimed spaces once swept and polished. The priestesses of old moved carefully among these gardens, lifting blooms, arranging leaves, and letting their songs rise with each gesture. You drift through the courtyard in spirit, feeling the rhythm of soft footsteps upon stone, the careful motion of hands brushing petals, and the gentle rise and fall of breath. Here, every movement is a note, every gesture a phrase in the quiet symphony of devotion, blending seamlessly with the temple and the natural world around it. Lanterns, now dark, once hung along the walls, their glow catching veils of smoke from small incense burners. You imagine them lit, their flames dancing in harmony with the songs, casting moving patterns across walls and floors. The light, sound, and motion together form a delicate tapestry, a meditation in form and presence. Even now, the faint trace of that harmony lingers, settling into the space, inviting you to float along with its gentle cadence, allowing your thoughts to become soft and unhurried. The temple hall narrows into a small chamber, where sunlight filters through a carved window in warm, fractured rays. Here, the songs were most often sung, the voices rising and falling with care, forming soft arcs that touch ceiling and floor alike. You feel the quiet weight of intention, the gentle persistence of devotion that never demanded recognition, only presence. Each note, though now silent, seems to linger in the air, a soft vibration felt rather than heard, wrapping the heart in warmth and calm. A small fountain gurgles in one corner, its water clear and still. You watch as it ripples gently, disturbed only by the faintest breath of wind. The water mirrors the ceiling and walls, reflecting columns, carvings, and creeping shadows. You follow the ripples with your eyes, noticing how each movement seems like a continuation of the songs, a fluid embodiment of care and attention. In this quiet, the water, the light, and the marble converge, offering you a soft place to rest your thoughts, a gentle cradle for awareness. As the sun dips below the horizon, the temple grows cooler, the shadows lengthening in tender shades of blue and gray. Petals settle, veils drift, and the air itself seems to slow. You float through the hallways one last time, tracing the memory of each song, each gesture, each gentle touch that has filled this space over countless years. The temple has held these echoes patiently, letting them resonate softly, inviting every visitor to rest in their tender rhythm. Finally, the courtyard opens to night, the stars appearing one by one in a darkening sky. A soft breeze carries the faint scent of jasmine and marble, lifting the memory of the songs outward into the world. You linger for a moment, feeling the gentle persistence of devotion, the quiet endurance of care, and the tender echo of every gesture made here. The temple, though still and silent, seems alive in its own way, breathing in harmony with the universe, whispering softly to all who enter. Let us drift onward now, leaving the halls of marble and the memory of gentle songs behind, carrying their calm into the quiet night. Let your heart float with the rhythm of soft devotion, your mind settle with the gentle cadence of care, and your spirit rest in the tender light of memory. Now rest, as the stars return, the temple sleeps, and the world cradles you in serene embrace. Twilight rests gently upon the village rooftops, casting long shadows across winding paths and small courtyards. Smoke rises in soft spirals from chimneys, carrying with it the faint scent of wood and herbs, a fragrance that feels like memory itself. You drift slowly along narrow lanes, noticing the warmth spilling from low windows, bathing the world in quiet golden light. Within these homes, the hearth glows softly, holding the pulse of gentle presence and careful attention. The hearth is more than fire. It is a center of life, a place where stories, songs, and wisdom flow like a steady current. Women gather around its warmth, their faces calm and radiant, eyes reflecting the flickering flames. Each movement is careful, deliberate, a silent language of care. You float close, sensing the weightless pulse of attention, the way a soft glance or a lifted hand can communicate understanding, love, and the quiet sharing of knowledge. Words rise and fall like gentle tides. Stories of the stars, of rivers and trees, of seasons and the turning of days are spoken in low, tender tones. Each tale is a vessel, carrying insight as softly as a feather drifting on a calm wind. You listen and your breath slows, syncing with the rhythm of the voices. The stories seem to flow not only from lips but from the air itself, settling into the room, filling every corner with warmth and light. The fire crackles softly, sending tiny sparks dancing upward before they vanish into the chimney. You watch them rise, following each one like a fleeting thought, a delicate idea that touches your mind without rushing. Around the hearth, women tend their tasks with calm devotion. A bowl is stirred, a cloth folded, a loaf of bread slid gently from oven to table. Every motion is careful, infused with meaning, teaching without instruction, guiding without haste. You drift through these gestures, feeling their calm energy wrap around your own awareness. A grandmother leans back, her hair silver in the firelight, eyes soft with patience. She speaks a story of courage and kindness, of a river that never tires and a mountain that watches silently. You hear the words, their cadence unhurried, like slow water sliding over smooth stones. Each phrase is a gentle hand, inviting you to follow, to understand, to feel the quiet rhythm of wisdom that has been passed down for countless generations. Outside, the wind hums softly through trees, carrying the scent of damp earth and night-blooming flowers. It slips through windows and doors, brushing against the hearth smoke, joining the warmth and the stories in a delicate embrace. You notice how the rhythm of the room matches the rhythm of the world outside. One complements the other. The fire mirrors the slow flicker of stars, the words echo the gentle sigh of leaves, and your own breath blends seamlessly with the pulse of this tender space. A young girl listens intently, her chin resting on her hands, eyes wide yet relaxed. She absorbs the stories not with urgency but with quiet attentiveness. You sense the invisible thread that connects all present, a chain of care and learning, woven from small acts of attention. The stories themselves are not just words. They are currents of thought and spirit, shaping hearts gently, inviting reflection without pressure, nurturing understanding with each softly spoken phrase. A pot simmers on the hearth, releasing gentle tendrils of aromatic steam. Each swirl carries memory, taste, and care, teaching without sound the patience required in all aspects of life. The motions of preparing food, of tending warmth, of arranging simple objects, all speak softly of balance and attention. You watch, your senses absorbing the rhythm of these acts, feeling your own mind soften, your thoughts untangle, your spirit settle. The grandmother's story continues, now about the turning seasons and the cycles of life. She speaks of the moon, reflecting sunlight across quiet waters, of seeds buried in dark soil, of winds that carry both rain and renewal. Each image is gentle yet vivid, like a brushstroke of light across your mind. You float with the imagery, letting it fill you, letting the soft cadence of words create a slow, serene rhythm in your chest, a lullaby for awareness itself. A younger woman rises and adds her voice, recounting a tale of quiet courage. She tells of a woman who walked through shadowed forests, guided only by the soft glimmer of fireflies, tending others without expectation, moving with careful grace. Her words are soft, yet each note carries a weightless authority. The story bends around your consciousness, encouraging reflection without urgency, allowing understanding to seep gently into your mind, like water absorbed by stone. The firelight flickers, casting shifting patterns across walls lined with shelves and woven baskets. Each object seems alive, imbued with the echo of previous hands that touched them, previous thoughts that lingered nearby. You sense the accumulated attention, the quiet rhythm of care that has persisted through generations. Even in silence, the room hums with gentle energy, the kind that reminds you that patience, love, and mindfulness are themselves forms of wisdom. In a corner, a small loom moves steadily under delicate fingers. Thread slides in slow arcs, weaving patterns unseen by casual eyes. You notice the rhythm, steady, intentional, mindful. It mirrors the flow of speech around the hearth, the quiet cadence of movement, the slow pulse of understanding passed from one person to another. Each pass of the thread, each turning of the shuttle, is an act of devotion, a meditation, a gentle instruction without a single word. The grandmother pauses, her gaze resting on the fire, and the room settles into a stillness as soft as silk. You feel the pause stretch, filling the space with presence, with the awareness that quiet moments are as important as words or action. In these breaths, wisdom flows not from teaching but from allowing, from being present, from the calm acknowledgement of life unfolding gently. You drift along with it, letting your mind quiet, letting your heart feel the warmth of this shared serenity. Outside, a soft rain begins, each drop a gentle percussion against the roof, a tender rhythm joining the fire and the voices. The sound is soft, never abrupt, a lullaby that blends seamlessly with the warmth inside. You notice how the rain moves with intention, filling spaces without force, creating a sense of flow and balance. The elements themselves seem to be participating in this quiet ritual of care and awareness, guiding you towards stillness with gentle insistence. The young girl leans back, her eyes half closed, breathing slowly in harmony with the room. The older women continue their stories, but now you hear less the words and more the spaces between them. The pauses, the breaths, the soft rustle of cloth and hair, the occasional clink of a spoon against a bowl. Each silence is a note in a larger song, a rhythm of attention that fills the room, grounding you, allowing your thoughts to slow, allowing your body to sink deeper into comfort. A simple melody arises, hummed softly from one woman to another, barely audible, yet carrying warmth and intent. You follow the thread of sound, noting how it wraps around the room, caresses the hearth, and settles lightly upon your shoulders. The melody is neither hurried nor forced. It moves like gentle water over stones, curving around obstacles, filling spaces, carrying the essence of care and understanding without demanding recognition. The hearth glows softly as the night deepens. Outside, the stars peek through clouds, each small point of light a distant echo of the warmth within. You feel connected not only to the people gathered here, but to countless women who have tended fires, shared wisdom, and sung softly across centuries. The room, the fire, the voices, and the quiet rhythm of action all become one gentle current, inviting your consciousness to drift, to float, to rest in calm awareness. Finally, the women rise slowly, finishing their tasks with careful grace. Bowls are empty, cloths folded, the fire allowed to settle into quiet embers. You drift among them, feeling the lingering warmth of the hearth, the soft pulse of shared wisdom, the gentle energy that remains even as movement ceases. The room holds its breath, inviting you to carry the calm forward, to let the rhythm of care and presence settle into your own mind and body. Let us drift onward now, leaving the hearth behind, carrying its warmth and wisdom into the quiet night. Let your thoughts move softly, like smoke rising from the last embers, and let your heart feel the gentle flow of timeless guidance. Now rest as the stars return, the village sleeps, and the world holds you in its tender, steady embrace. The evening light filters softly through tall, arched windows, casting long, gentle shadows across the cloistered halls. The air is calm, carrying the faint scent of herbs, worn stone, and waxed wood. You float quietly along the cool corridors, feeling the steady rhythm of footsteps that seem to echo both in space and in time. Each sound is soft, deliberate, like the slow unfolding of a deep breath. The cloister is a place of stillness and care. Women move gracefully through its spaces, each step measured, each gesture intentional. Some pause to touch the curve of a column, to adjust the placement of a candle, or to smooth a cloth over a table. You notice how every action carries mindfulness, a gentle presence that seems to seep into the walls themselves, making the stones feel alive with calm energy. In the central hall, soft chanting rises like a distant tide. Voices blend, low and harmonious, filling the air with tender vibrations. The words are old, carried across generations, and though you may not understand each phrase, you feel the meaning in your chest. Devotion, care, healing, and quiet reflection. The sound moves like water, washing over your senses, allowing tension to dissolve and breath to deepen. A woman kneels by a small herb garden inside the cloister. Her hands move slowly, gently plucking leaves and arranging them with care. Each leaf carries both fragrance and memory, as though the plant itself holds stories of past seasons and patient nurturing. You drift closer. noticing the way her movements mirror the rhythm of the chants, slow, flowing, unhurried. Each gesture is a lesson in attention, a teaching of softness without a single word spoken. In another hall, a group of women sits at low tables, writing carefully by candlelight. The paper glows faintly, reflecting the warmth of the flame, and ink flows like quiet water across the page. You watch the careful sweep of each stroke, the way their eyes move from word to word, tracing thought as gently as a finger tracing the surface of a still pond. In their concentration, you feel the presence of centuries of learning, a river of knowledge carried forward through patience and devotion. Soft bells chime somewhere in the distance, their sound light yet profound. They mark the passing of time not with urgency, but with gentle awareness, reminding all who listen to notice the quiet rhythm of the day. You hear the echo ripple through the cloister, and you imagine it touching each stone, each window, each slow movement of a hand. The sound is a tether, grounding you in the peace that lives here. A healer moves quietly along the corridor, carrying small vessels filled with oils and poultices. Her hands are steady, her face serene, and every step seems guided by unseen currents of care. She stops to tend a patient, her touch soft, her words minimal but full of comfort. You feel the warmth of her presence, the quiet certainty that healing need not rush, that calm attention can be as powerful as any force of action. Outside, twilight deepens and shadows stretch along the cloister walls. Moonlight slips through latticed windows, tracing patterns of silver across floors and arches. The interplay of light and dark seems to breathe with the rhythm of the inhabitants, a gentle dance of contrasts that soothes the mind and quiets the heart. You float alongside these patterns, noticing the slow unfolding of shadows as they curve and bend, inviting stillness. In a small library tucked beneath the arches, a woman turns pages slowly, her fingertips brushing the delicate paper. The room smells faintly of parchment and wood polish, and you sense the weight of knowledge held within these walls. Each book, each scroll seems to pulse softly, as though waiting to share insight with gentle patience. You lean closer, imagining the countless hands that have touched these pages, each adding a quiet echo of understanding to the space. A bell tolls softly again, this time calling for evening meditation. Women gather in a quiet room, sitting in simple circles. Candles are placed around them, flickering lightly, casting dancing shadows across serene faces. You feel the rhythm of breathing, slow and uniform, as if the room itself is inhaling and exhaling with the occupants. The air hums with presence, a soundless resonance that encourages the mind to soften and the spirit to rest. Outside the window, a garden sleeps under the silver light. Paths wind among carefully tended flowers and herbs, dew glistening faintly on leaves. Women occasionally step quietly into the garden, moving with the rhythm of their breathing, touching petals, bending to examine small sprouts. Every motion is mindful, every gesture a meditation in itself. You float among them, feeling the stillness of their attention, the quiet care they pour into every living thing. A novice walks slowly behind an elder, imitating the subtle movements of the hands, the tilt of the head, the way her gaze rests on the path ahead. The elder moves with serene certainty, guiding without speech, teaching through example. You sense the invisible thread of mentorship, a quiet river of knowledge and care, flowing steadily from one to another. In this transmission, wisdom travels not by force but by patient presence, touching hearts softly, inviting growth without pressure. In the kitchen, a gentle fire simmers under a copper pot. Steam curls upward in lazy spirals, carrying the aroma of herbs and warm bread. The woman tending it moves with deliberate care, stirring slowly, tasting, adjusting. The fire does not rush, nor does she. The space is saturated with attention, creating a sanctuary of calm. You notice how even the act of preparing sustenance becomes a meditation, a teaching in patience and presence. Footsteps echo softly along stone corridors, mingling with distant laughter that is light and unhurried. A small child walks with an older sister, exploring the cloister with curiosity that is welcomed, not rushed. Each exploration is gentle, each question received with calm consideration. The rhythm of their steps blends seamlessly with the rhythm of the day, a testament to the quiet harmony that permeates these walls. The moon rises higher, casting cool light over the cloister. Shadows deepen, but they do not feel dark or threatening. Instead, they wrap around corners and edges like soft blankets, inviting you to sink deeper into stillness. You feel your own breath slow further, matching the cadence of the cloister, the heartbeat of its women, the quiet unfolding of time. Each moment stretches, calm and unhurried, as if the world itself were breathing with care. A song drifts through the halls, sung by a single voice, rising and falling like a gentle stream. Other voices join, harmonizing softly, blending into a lullaby that seems to embrace the entire cloister. You drift within the sound, noticing how it touches every surface, every shadow, every movement. The song carries both blessing and presence, a reminder that peace is cultivated through attention, care, and shared quiet devotion. Candles burn low, their flames stretching upward before settling into gentle flickers. The night deepens, and the women finish their rituals, moving with mindful grace to settle into rest. You follow their movements, letting the rhythm of careful footsteps and quiet voices guide your own awareness toward calm. The cloister itself seems to breathe, inhaling and exhaling in gentle time with your slowing heart. Outside, the gardens rest under the moonlight, the stars blinking softly above. You sense the world beyond the cloister continuing its slow motion, yet inside, the harmony of presence, care, and stillness continues uninterrupted. Every gesture, every breath, every soft echo of voice has contributed to a rhythm that now carries you as well. You float in this rhythm, feeling the gentle flow of attention and devotion wrap around your consciousness like a protective, warm cloak. Let us drift onward now, through shadowed halls and silver gardens, carrying the gentle presence of the cloister within. Let your breath match its rhythm, slow and steady, guided by the soft steps and tender songs you have witnessed. Now rest, as the shadows stretch and deepen, the stars return, and the calm of the cloister settles gently into your own heart. The night is quiet now, wrapped in a gentle stillness that rests over the land like a soft blanket. Stars glimmer faintly in the deep sky, their light slow and patient, as if they too are waiting to fade into the gentle embrace of dawn. You float lightly through the cool air, sensing the hush of the world, the way the earth itself seems to inhale and exhale in the rhythm of calm. The cloistered gardens lie asleep beneath dew-laden leaves, petals closed and stems bending in quiet repose. A soft wind rustles through the trees, carrying with it the fragrance of night-blooming flowers. Each breath of air feels like a gentle hand, smoothing tension from your shoulders, softening thought, guiding your mind toward serene emptiness. In a small sanctuary at the edge of the forest, women move quietly. Their robes whisper against stone floors and woven mats. They carry small bowls of water, drops of oil, and sprigs of herbs. Each item is held with careful reverence, as if the simplest gesture can speak of the divine. You drift closer, feeling the warmth of their presence without needing to speak, without needing to see the exact movement, just sensing the tender rhythm of devotion. Soft candlelight glows in niches along the walls, flickering gently in a slow, hypnotic dance. Shadows stretch and bend across the hall, joining the women in their silent movement. You notice how every flicker and sway mirrors the ebb and flow of breath, as if light itself were alive and joining in the quiet offering of care. A woman kneels by the central altar, her hands raised slightly over a bowl of water. She murmurs words that float through the room like soft wind over still waters. The words are blessings, simple and tender, meant for every creature resting under the stars. You feel the vibration of the sound in your chest, a gentle pulse that mirrors your own heartbeat, reminding you that all life is cradled in these quiet, sacred gestures. Beyond the sanctuary, the world is hushed. Trees bow in moonlight, their leaves catching silver beams. A small stream hums softly as it curves around stones, carrying reflections of the stars. You drift alongside its winding course, feeling the fluid calm of its motion, sensing that even the water participates in this quiet rite. Every ripple seems to carry the intention of care, every splash a whisper of presence. Another woman moves between the candles, her hands brushing lightly over each flame. She tends them with reverent attention, tilting them slightly, coaxing them to flicker just so. In the subtle movement, there is a meditation in itself, a lesson in gentle patience. You watch, almost weightless, feeling the rhythm of her fingers, the slow grace of her body, and you notice your own body softening with each breath. A bell chimes, so faint that it feels like a caress rather than a sound. It echoes lightly through the air, brushing the edges of your awareness. The women pause briefly, letting the tone linger, a bridge between moments. In that pause, you notice the gentle weight of night settling more fully, inviting everything to rest. Each movement, each small sound, is part of a slow, flowing ritual meant to cradle not only the world, but the hearts of those who observe it. In a corner, a healer spreads herbs on a low mat, whispering softly over them. Her hands move in careful circles, pressing and releasing, arranging them as though the patterns themselves hold the blessings of the night. You sense that these actions are not hurried. Each gesture carries intention, patience, and the quiet power of care. Even without knowing the names of the herbs, you feel their effect, the way attention and love can permeate all that it touches. A soft chant begins in one part of the sanctuary, voices barely above a whisper, blending with the rustle of leaves outside. The words curl around you like warm air, each syllable a feather brushing against thought, settling it into stillness. You notice how the voices rise and fall like gentle waves, slow and steady, never urgent, never demanding. They are a lullaby for the world, sung by those who have learned the quiet language of devotion. Moonlight spills across the altar, illuminating the small offerings left upon it. Bowls of water, petals, and herbs shine faintly, their surfaces reflecting silver like fragments of the sky itself. The women move among these offerings, touching them lightly, whispering again, each movement an echo of care that seems to stretch beyond the sanctuary, beyond the forest, touching even the small corners of your own mind. Outside, the garden is still. Dew rests on the petals like tiny gems, each reflecting the soft glow of moonlight. A woman walks slowly along the path, her footsteps silent, her hands trailing lightly over flowers and leaves. She bends occasionally, whispering words that carry in the night, blessings meant for the sleeping creatures of earth. You feel the calm of her presence ripple through the scene, softening the edges of your own thoughts, inviting you to float deeper into rest. Another light begins to glow, a lamp hung just outside the window, illuminating the path for those who still wander quietly. A novice walks slowly, following the path of soft illumination, her head bowed slightly in reflection. The elder guiding her moves beside her, her presence steady and luminous in its calm. You sense the gentle transmission of wisdom here, a language of subtle gestures, soft glances, and measured breath. No words are necessary. The teaching is absorbed by the quiet heart, as naturally as the night absorbs the light of stars. A small bell rings again, so faint that it feels like a heartbeat in the silence. The women pause, raising their hands slightly, fingers brushing over the air as if to touch the lingering calm itself. The bell fades slowly, leaving a trail of resonance that drifts through the sanctuary and into the gardens. You notice your own breath lengthen, matching the slow fatting of sound, the quiet stretching of night. Candles are tended once more, their light steady now, soft and unwavering. The women move among them, a silent procession of devotion. Each placement, each tilt, each careful adjustment is a prayer offered without words, a bridge between the human and the unseen. You float along with them, carried by the rhythm of their presence, the softness of their movements, the gentle intention of each act. A final chant rises, so soft it is almost part of the air itself. You hear fragments of words meant for protection, for peace, for the night itself. They mingle with the rustle of leaves, the flowing of water, the cool touch of moonlight on stone. The sound seems to wrap the entire world in a quiet embrace, inviting rest without pressure, comfort without expectation. Slowly the women complete their work. Bowls are emptied, candles settled, herbs replaced gently on their mats. The sanctuary breathes with them, a living presence of calm. You notice how the shadows have deepened, soft and protective, how the air has become thick with stillness. In this moment, the night feels complete, and so do you, carried along by the care, the presence, the gentle echoes of devotion. You linger a little longer, sensing the last movements of blessing. One woman raises her hands toward the sky, as if lifting the night itself, and then lowers them slowly, palms open. Another places a hand over a bowl of water, letting it shimmer in the candlelight before resting it back on the altar. Every gesture is subtle, yet profound in its quiet intention. You feel each motion resonate within your own chest, guiding you to let go, to settle, to rest fully. Outside, the first hint of dawn brushes the horizon. Stars begin to fade, their soft twinkle dimming into the pale light of morning. The women pause, their eyes resting briefly on the changing sky. They bow their heads in silent acknowledgement of the cycle, the passing of night into day, the gentle continuity of care that will remain long after the stars disappear. You notice the fading light mingling with the lingering shadow, a balance that mirrors the rhythm of your own slowing thoughts. Let us drift onward now, carried by the echoes of these last blessings. Let the tender presence of the women, the slow pulse of chanting, the soft light of candles and moon guide your mind into stillness. Every breath is a wave, every heartbeat a drum of calm. Rest here, embraced by the sanctuary of night, carried gently towards sleep. Now rest, as the stars return only in memory, the night releases its hold, and the quiet blessings of the cloistered women settle softly into your own heart. Drift in the warmth of their care, letting it flow through your mind, through your body, into the quietest corners of your being.